You're listening to Pop This, the podcast where two women talk about everything pop culture. Here are your hosts, Lisa Christiansen and Andrea Warner.
So it's really exciting, but like I ordered some food that arrived today, and it's one of my favorite foods.
Is it Trump steaks?
Weirdly enough, no. Although I do love a Nathan's Famous hot dog. No, this is I wish we could get them delivered here, but I've checked into it. Anyway, I ordered, it's that time of year again, the large peanut butter eggs from Purdy's.
Like the big, like the Cadbury Easter cream egg kind of ones? Like that size?
No, like that's, they're larger. They're
larger than the Cadbury Easter cream egg?
Yes, they are specifically, I love them. So Purdy's does their own version of the Cadbury cream egg as well, but I hate that. I think it's disgusting. But their usual like peanut butter chocolate bars, they make them in the large egg-shaped form for Easter.
How large? Can you do a hand thing? Like, what are you talking?
Like a
People
small,
listening can't see a hand thing.
Let me compare it to a small avocado.
Ooh.
That's pretty big then.
Yeah, but a small avocado. Anyway, it's a milk chocolate, and I like a milk chocolate, but I also I love a really smooth, delicious, robust peanut butter flavor. And the peanut butter filling in the Purdy's peanut butter is so good. I think it's like among the best peanut butter fillings in chocolate. And so when it's Purdy's peanut butter egg time, it's extra great because it's just so much more peanut butter than the normal peanut butter chocolate bars from Purdy's. And so this arrived today. And
how many did you get?
So I ordered so it comes in singles or packs of 3. And I ordered, I want to say like 3 or 4 packs of 3 to just like carry me through the next 2 months.
How often do you eat them? Every few days? You just ration yourself, or?
Yeah, I don't like more than one every like 3 or 4 days.
You don't like
maybe
make Carlos hide them around the apartment. And
no, I'm pretty good about like I
like to do that at Christmas. After Christmas. When I hide the chocolate bars.
I meant like you don't do like an Easter egg hunt.
Oh, I do not make Carlos do an Easter. No Easter egg hunts. No, I'm too afraid. I'm too afraid of like we haven't had a mouse this winter. Knock on wood. And I don't want one again. And I'm worried that if we put out chocolate in random hiding places, that one, he's not going to make a chocolate map. It'll be like Gilmore Girls when Kirk not laid the eggs, but like hid the eggs, and then no one could find them and the town stunk. It would like our home would become like a chocolate graveyard. Like it would just be terrible.
That's fun.
I know. Yeah, so fun. But yeah, so the height of like my indulgence is like this is my second year of ordering peanut butter eggs in quarantine. Are there foods that you two have ordered in quarantine that like are just like so special to you that you can only get seasonally?
Not really. I have discovered that there's this chef, I think he operates out of Coquitlam, Marty's Kitchen, and he makes like these Basque burnt cheesecake.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and I discovered him through the craft fair, that local craft fair that went online this year. I can't think of the name right. Yeah, Got Craft went online this year, and he was like one of the vendors, and he does like little small Basque burnt cheesecakes and delivers them to your house.
Wow.
Or like someone on his team does. And
that's so nice.
They're amazing. Marty's Kitchen, if you're into that kind of thing.
Oh my God, I love a Basque burnt cheesecake. It's so
I don't
good.
know what that is. I've never heard of that.
Oh, it's
You mean Basque as in like region of Spain?
Yeah. It's a type of cheesecake, and it's just like kind of burnt and caramelized almost on the top. It's so good, Lisa. You'd love it.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
I mean, you had me at cheesecake, but
I know. Like, it's just like this is like a slightly like different kind of cheesecake, and it's so nice.
Well, I don't have quite the same. I would say that I've been lucky to have a friend who is making marmalade this year because apparently the Seville oranges, speaking of Spain, have been particularly good. I don't know. But anyway, I have managed to get 2 jars of marmalade. And like our friend Paddington, I happen to very, 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 very much love marmalade. And so when someone gives you a jar of marmalade, there's a requirement of getting some really good butter. And I like that really great goat's milk butter. It's like almost a white color. You can find it some places. It's ridiculously expensive. And then a really good loaf of bread. And then put that loaf of bread in the oven till it gets really crispy on the top. Mm-hmm. And then just slather the butter on and a big layer of marmalade.
That sounds pretty tasty.
We made blood orange marmalade this year with a bit of like brandy in it, and it was so good.
You made it all?
No, we have. I can give you some. We probably have extra.
Did you notice that in there?
That was good. Yeah. That was so smooth. Like so smooth. Yeah. So smooth. Yeah, that was incredible.
Yeah. I am very ready for that. And I mean, I don't, I've tried I made marmalade once. I've made a few things. It's not like, I'm not particularly good at it. So I don't know if there's any point to continue when so many other people are so good at it.
I'm Andrea Warner.
I'm Lisa Christiansen.
I'm Andrea Gin.
And you're listening to Pop This. And I'm so excited about what we're talking about today. Because I feel like I've been hearing about this movie since last year. And it's on Netflix. And I just, I didn't watch it I didn't watch it right away. It was released on October 9th, but I didn't watch it right away. And we just watched it. And I just feel like, man, this is a movie that I needed this week specifically. So
I agree. And also I wonder why it hasn't had as much hype as why isn't it all over Netflix? Why did I have to search for it to watch it on Netflix? It should be It's on the front page.
Not only is it really a great story, it's also just in lots of ways just a very sweet rom-com too.
Yeah. It's got all the things going on.
Yeah.
All the things going on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, anyway, so we are talking about the 40-year-old virgin. Now, I will say, everyone I've said this to thinks I say 40-year-old virgin.
Virgin, yes.
Which I understand, and I think it's a great play on that. But I also, maybe that is one of the things potentially that has confused people. I'm not really sure. For example, when we were starting to play it last night, my grandma was like, I don't think I want to watch this. And I was like, why? And she was like, well, I don't care about a virgin. And I was like, that's not what we're watching. That's not what this is at all. And then I also suggested it to a friend who teaches high school today. I was like, I don't know if it would be appropriate or not, but there's a high school component within the film that I think is really relatable to kids, and particularly, and she was like, the 40-year-old virgin has a high school component related to kids and poetry, and no, it's the 40-year-old version, and maybe it's my enunciation, I don't know. Anyway, I just want to put that out there. We're not saying 40-year-old virgin.
No, that movie came out 15 years ago too or something?
Yeah, 20 maybe even.
Is it 20?
It's a long time ago.
Yeah. Jeepers. Anyway.
Yeah. No,
it's Judd Apatow's debut movie.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
It was?
Yeah.
Well, and this is Rada Blank's debut movie. So super cool. I
can't believe that.
I know. This is wild.
It's so good. And
it's so good. It's so
wrote
great.
it. And she stars in it. She directs it. It's unbelievable. It looks like, she's first of all acted in a bunch of movies. Second of all, it seems like this can't be her first directorial, effort because it looks amazing.
Yeah. No, I know. It's wild. So anyways, that said, AG, do you want to read the background?
Sure. The 40-Year-Old Version is a 2020 American comedy film written, directed, and produced by Radha Blank in her feature directorial debut. It stars Blank, Peter Kim, Oswin Benjamin, and Reed Birney. It had its world premiere at the Sundance Film Festival on January 25th, 2020, where Blank won the U.S. Dramatic Competition Directing Award, and was released on October 9th by Netflix. It was named one of the 10 best films of 2020 by the National Board of Review.
It was released at Sundance on my birthday.
Oh,
yay me! Okay, Lisa, do you want to do the synopsis?
Sure. Yes, Blank plays a version of herself, a nearing 40 playwright who won an award early in her career meant to enshrine her as one of the hot new talents of the New York theater scene. That distinction has since, as it so often does for people laden with praise at the outset, become both talisman and albatross. She can always point to it as a symbol of her promise. She can also point to it as a symbol of her promise unfulfilled. Radha earns her money teaching theater to high school students in Brooklyn, a lively bunch who like their teacher but question her authority. Who is she to lecture them, the visionaries of a new generation, when her own creative output has sputtered and slowed to a trickle? And that is from Richard Lawson in Vanity Fair.
Yeah, so I just love this movie. It was so
I know.
It was
I laughed.
so exciting to watch.
I laughed so hard throughout it, and I got emotional at various points too. Like, I just haven't had an experience like that where I'm genuinely laughing and crying in watching one film in such a long time.
No, I loved it too. I thought it was just I loved just the opening, just that awkward scene on the bus. I like having a protagonist that, and we've discussed this so many times, isn't perfect.
Yeah, who's
makes a lot of mistakes and is flawed, but is genuinely trying her best and is a good person, but makes some poor choices maybe sometimes. But it's confusing. It's she's dealing with grief and all these other things. So I just like I also like this idea sometimes in the way somebody writes the characters, just to give us a sense of who they are, just kind of showing them on an ordinary day.
Yes.
And just how they're not in the right place. It just starts with her with insomnia, and then she's late and tries to get on the bus, and then people misinterpret her ideas, and then there's nothing more withering than a bunch of high school students taking you down a notch. As much as you think I should be the confident older person here, they can just take the wind right out of your sails. And just seeing this one day, it just is you're okay. This is who we are. We know what's going on, and I just love that as a setup to who she is.
Yeah, I agree. It gives us so much information about who she is, and I think I really for a movie to run 2 hours and 4 minutes, I know that some people thought it was no, I don't think people actually thought it was long. They just looked at it and they were like, oh, 2 hours and 4 minutes. That is a
long movie.
It's longer than what we're used to lately. But I feel like every minute of it is actually so smartly in service of every character, just giving us all of this sort of nuance and sort of information, because in as much as New York's a character in these films too, I love movies wherein New York is one of the characters. Thinking about that, we've watched a few movies recently actually where sort of New York has been a big factor,
Crossing Delancey,
and I feel like this movie is just such I don't know, it just really sort of captures that as well, and I love the world that she created, and I loved spending time in it so much that I happily would have sat through a 3-hour version of this film, because I just enjoyed spending time there.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. No,
yeah,
I did too.
Well, I read somewhere that it was like someone, I forget who said this, but they said it feels like, like a person, because she was in her 40s when she made this movie. And like, again, we've done movies by a couple of women who directed their first movies in their 40s. Joan Micklin Silver with Crossing Delancey, and your
Lynn
sister's
Shelton.
sister,
Yeah.
Lynn Shelton. But it had the feeling of someone who had a ton of ideas that they've been building up over the years, and it took her like 6 years to get this movie made. And just like, they said it had the feeling of a movie where the director was like crammed in everything they had in case, like they didn't get another chance to make another movie. They wanted to put like everything they had into this movie. And to me, that feels a bit true.
I think so too, but I think I really respect like how that happens for women, and particularly Black women and women of color. Like, I think a lot, this isn't exactly the same, but actually that makes me think really like a lot of, obviously you guys know that like I wrote about Buffy St. Marie and I love her a lot. And we talk a little bit, her and I, about her debut album, It's My Way. And she made that when she was 23, which is different, but she honestly thought it would be her only chance. So she just threw everything she had into that record. And that's like, you feel that in this film as well. Like it's someone who is from sort of outside the traditional systems, who isn't coming in on like a legacy or a like nepotism, who doesn't traditionally have access to the systems of power within sort of the film industry and music industry in Buffy's case. And like, just when you leave it all on the table, I think you can feel it, and it just feels like something that is profound and important and lasting.
Mm-hmm. I wonder too, like you said, it took 6 years to make. I wonder because the kind of,
or to get the funding,
get it done. Because one of the running themes in this story is her trying to get a play off the ground about a Black couple in New York, and all the compromises she has to make to the story, just for all of the awful ways that the arts were treated and different stories, and white people.
Yeah.
Most specifically white people in this. But I wonder over those years if those were some of the things she experienced. I wonder, that we could get you the money right now. Just do this to the story. Just do this. I wonder how autobiographical that part is.
Well, she talks about it a little bit in oh gosh, sorry, I'm just looking through the outline. But she said it took 6 years to get this project off the ground, largely because she wanted to portray a more nuanced version of Black womanhood than mainstream Hollywood producers were comfortable with. It wasn't until Lena Waithe signed on as a producer that Blank was able to make the movie she wanted. Quote, I don't know that I would have made this film if it wasn't for Lena trusting me with my own vision. So like, certainly that struggle, I think, is replicated so clearly. I mean, the absolute genius level of her, like, just like the scathing and like sort of nuanced and incisive ways that she captures that sort of like those, like that really awful white gatekeeper element of the theater world, and like theater producers and who has the money and how so what's his name?
Jay Whitman.
He's this like, oh yeah, and there's gonna be spoilers for this, so if you haven't seen the film, like, you could stop it now and then go watch it and come back, but I think we're gonna talk about everything in like a fair amount of detail. But the way that he casually makes all of these like increasingly horrifying demands, and his feedback, like his first feedback is like, I would ask myself, did a Black person even write this? To Radha's face, he says this, and the casual like racist comfort he has with sort of like delivering that feedback. But then the ways in which throughout the movie, so first he casually says to her, I'm still looking for a writer for my Harriet Tubman musical. And then it becomes an Ida B. Wells musical. Then it's a Shirley Chisholm musical at the end. Like, I was just, oh my God, my mind kept exploding. And I was just like, I could not stop laughing. Just like, because he doesn't, like, this character, he doesn't even care. Like, he doesn't care who it, like, which Black woman hero is at the center of his musical. He's just like, he's so extractive and so exploitative. And I thought that, like, Radha's writing, it captures like, oh my God. And one of the white patrons is, like, so excited about finally having an integrated fences. I just, honest to God, almost fell off of the couch. Because those are the kinds of things that I have heard in, like I reviewed theater for a long time, and we'd see a production that, is literally supposed to have an entirely Black cast, and you'd hear, like, little murmurs in the audience after by some of, like, the very rich white patrons, just being like, I mean, they could have done a little more with the casting, or, like, some kind of thing of just, like, why wasn't my whiteness centered in this experience? Mm-hmm. And yeah, it's captured, like, Radha nails it. And no surprise, she knows it. I think
my favorite line was when she wanted a Black director, and then Archie says they can't get a Black director. And he tells her who they're going to get. And he said, she directed an all-male Steel Magnolias. And she's like, oh, well, I'm relieved then.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. There's so many just perfect lines in this movie. Like, it's oh God!
It takes you everywhere, right? Like, you get emotional because she talks about her mother who died, and like, there's a romance, and then there's that incredible rap battle that
but that way that that's why I said I liked her character so much, for that flaws that she has become so hardened and defensive with all of these people that really care about her, that Archie's that trying, there's the D that, that he genuinely really likes her. Now, the kids at the school, right, really, really like her, but she's in just such a place of such confusion that it's great. I liked all of those struggles. And I like the fact that she let D have that moment for her going, what are you, just hanging out with us doing rap? But you don't care? Like, we're nobody to you? Like, she had to confront, like, what was she doing with that?
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess we should mention, too, that part of this movie is about her struggle with approaching 40 and deciding to revisit her. Like, when she was younger, she was a rapper called Radimus Prime. And she decides to revisit that and make a mixtape. And so starts rapping again. The most hilarious,
honest, very, very honest.
You've ever heard.
Yeah, it's so
good.
Yeah, and then that was also just like a really great part of what we always love in rom-coms is when the other person loves you for who you are, and she wasn't she was in there writing songs about her cricky bones and her fears, and he was sitting there going, I'm falling in love, and it was not. And that, I think, is when we talk about rom-coms and really love them, it's because we love that idea that there is someone out there that's looking at you with all your foibles and flaws, and they're seeing you, and they're seeing what you do, and they're hearing what you do, and they want you to keep doing it. And so that snuck up on me in this story.
Well, and I also really love, actually, like, that, she gets to be so even though, like, she, like, Radha, the character, doesn't, has concerns about being 40 and feeling like a failure because she hasn't had her regional production of her play, and she's just going to be in this workshop, and, like, these benchmarkers for success that she has decided, sort of validate her career. They're not happening for her. But she is still, and she feels like she has to lose 40 pounds, and she's got all these things that are sort of wrapped up in her, but like like externally, like there are multiple characters who are like actually definitely in love with her.
Yeah,
and, like,
exactly. Yeah,
and see her in this way. And it's like, I mean, yes, the two of them are students, and neither of those things are appropriate, but it is sort of really great and fun to see what that looks like when you have these kids sort of just being so open and just having these crushes and like being kind of like inappropriate, and it's so funny. And then you meet like a guy like D, who's just like very quiet and sort of like seems to be a little checked out entirely, but then you find out all these other things about him, and you see them bond in not just like the power and the storytelling that she brings to her rhymes, but like also in their shared grief, because his mother has recently passed as well. And I feel like they do so much with a character who actually says very little with D. Yeah. Like his face is so expressive, his eyes are so expressive. And it's a really charming performance that like I want to see more of him in other films. I think he was really good.
And her friendship with Archie, very complicated.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So good.
And very, very complicated, yet really like at a beautiful, I don't want to say ending, because I'm sure they'll still be friends, but it had a really nice kind of crescendo, I guess you'd say.
Yeah, I think they'll be friends forever. Like theirs is like one of those lifetime friendships where they've just, but like when they have their confrontation, it's so powerful and it's so effective, and they are both calling each other on their stuff. And you know, it's devastating, but it's also like very real feeling, and their performances are both so good. Like Peter Kim, so good.
Yeah.
I also really liked how it gave us this completely different version of Brooklyn than we're used to seeing in a lot of the shows we see on Netflix. Like, you know, like we've seen Girls, we've seen Broad City, which was Broad City was a great show that I love. Yeah. And even like recently I was watching this show called Search Party.
Oh yeah, Search Party.
Yeah, but they're all like such white, like hipster versions of Brooklyn.
Yeah.
And it was just, you
know, because
know,
they've been gentrified. Andrea. I don't know if you watched the play within the movie.
Yeah, but well, I guess like they are the white characters in that play, I guess.
Yeah, truly.
But yeah, it's just like nice to be reminded that like, yeah, Brooklyn is full of all different kinds of people, and it's not just, you know, white hipsters. And,
yeah, and it felt like it was really like I really loved. I didn't know whether or not I figured eventually we would get a scene between her and her brother, because he's calling constantly and wants to like talk about or to like clear out their mom's place and stuff like that. And the scene that we end up getting is, I thought, like really, again, this movie is just so smart, but the way that it deals with grief is not sort of in the typical, I don't know, not in the typical ways that we see sort of grief dealt with. Like it's because it's not just Radha grieving her mom. It's Radha sort of grieving like what she deems her own failure and her mom's failure. Like she has like aligned their realities that they are both these failed artists, and her brother sort of like just so quickly recalibrates that for her by being like, no, like she was a successful artist in her own way, that she wanted to be a success, and that you and I as her children were her two greatest creations. And she lived this like amazing life where she totally felt proud of like the art that she did and the community that she made. And just to sort of like have that mirror held up to you, I think, especially as an artist and especially as someone who has reached a certain age where they feel like, you know, that there's nothing new to be excited about them. Like there's like no more opportunities or whatever, which is not true. But like we do get into our head spaces that like there are only opportunities for like young people sometimes, and that's
well, it's a pretty ageist society we have. I mean, there are things that are getting better, but it's on the whole, it's and I think that's what she's playing with too.
But the other portion of that is that like as much I agree that there is like it's an ageist society in a lot of different ways, particularly like beauty standards and technology and stuff like that. But the people who are still the power holders and institutional power holders are still actually much older than like young people are still the
money is still in the hands of the older people.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And young people don't actually have the capital that older people have because they literally don't have the money. And so like I think that there's and I think I mean these are different things that are also complicated by race and by gender and sexuality and stuff like that. So there's like lots of different layers, but I think what he does in that moment for her is I think just like remind her that success isn't just like a metric in like sort of a metric in like a white artist society. Like it has to be like a fuller metric of community, of what your own values are, like what you feel good about and what you can live with in your own art. Like, so when she goes to like, she at this point hates her play and it gets this standing ovation on opening night. And it's this really deeply compromised version of what she wanted to do. I mean, some of those musical numbers, and then just like it's
well,
oh my God.
I think that expression that she uses a lot, that poverty porn.
Yeah, the poverty
is
porn
a really interesting. Imagine how many times she's been asked to write that or make something like that, or even when what is it? What was the Michelle Pfeiffer film that she's
Dangerous Minds. This isn't Dangerous
Minds.
This
isn't Dangerous Minds. Yeah, like that. It's such a great reference because obviously it's the school, but also that's what that movie is.
Yeah, like the white saviorism and like stuff like that. Like it's yeah.
But I mean, it's also we've all seen plays like that.
Oh my God. Yes. So many plays like that where it's so it's and I think like in terms of sort of like interrogating and challenging the negative impact of the white gaze and centering the white gaze in theater and the arts, like this movie does like, and I don't want to say that because this movie is not about like centering a white experience at all. It's about decentering whiteness, and it confronts that so beautifully. And it's like there are going to be like there's just so much power in like Radha as a character challenging these systems, and at the end when she's experiencing, like, I love that we see her experience the people reacting to her play, and it pains her every time, like every applause is like a knife to the heart, because she feels like Archie has accused her of saying, like, he's saying you're not too good to sell out, and she has to confront that and think about what that is. And also she has to pay her rent. Like she has to live. Like there's like,
whereas at the beginning when she was approaching that other theater, they weren't interested in paying her. So
well, they just didn't have the money, because again, there's money in exploiting Black pain. There's not money in supporting Black joy, or just even a Black experience beyond trauma.
Well, like this movie, really, which is about a woman turning 40 and confronting mortality and grief and love and creativity and everything.
Yeah. And
but I think, like, we're at a, like, I'm not an expert in, like, you know more about plays than I do, being a critic and etc. Andrea,
I'm not an expert, but fair.
But it feels to me that, like, the plays that I've seen are really we're not there where they're working on decolonizing plays yet.
Oh God, no, this is like, oh my God, like, seriously, like I just did like a phone consultation with this theater artist like a couple months ago, or no, like last month or whatever, and she's thinking about she's wanting to do like some work to make like, because a lot of like theater criticism is often like super white. There aren't a lot of theater critics of color. And so she was asking for my like thoughts about stuff and my experiences and like what she could do to sort of like try and deal with some of those systemic barriers to entry, et cetera, et cetera. And, you know, the fundamental truth of it is that like theater systems, I think across Canada particularly, we've seen how resistant they are, and particularly theater critics across Canada, we've seen how resistant they are to being challenged in the process of decolonization. Like, we've had a couple of plays by Indigenous playwrights, and they've specifically asked that white theater critics not review the shows, that they're welcome to come see them, but they've asked them not to review them because they're asking people to just come and experience the theater, to not write about it, to not witness it, and particularly not bring that like white lens to the work. It's a very simple request, but some white theater critics were like, what? You're telling me I can't do this? And they're like, no, we're asking you not to, and to understand our reasoning why we're asking that. Like, why we're asking people, particularly white theater critics, to not be reviewing the play in a colonial like mindset. Like, it's, you know, as part of an act of decolonization, we have requested this. And they can't even white theater critics can't even just like take a moment to reflect on why they might be asked this. Instead, they have to immediately write a column about how is this reconciliation be like, maybe just like sit on your hands instead of typing for 3 days and think about what is being asked of you. And I have a lot of colleagues, I guess if I don't review theater anymore, but across the country who are very uncomfortable with just being asked to think about the space they take up and how they write about theater. And they can't even do that. So that's like a big problem with decolonization in theater.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it feels like, you know, what we're seeing on screen is just, I don't know what it's the actual state of things right now. And at the end of the movie, when, even though like it goes over really well, the audience gives a standing ovation and they love it. And then she just goes on stage and kind of blows it up and then literally drops mic and walks off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That felt like amazing.
Oh, yeah.
It's very cleansing.
Oh, my God. Yeah, totally. Totally. Well, I mean, especially like there are, especially you see that white director mouthing the lines to everything. And when she's in the rehearsal space and explaining to them how they are all this carton of soy milk.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Yeah. Anyway.
And the actor's saying, well, why are we meant to speak this way?
Yeah.
Why did you write the dot? Like, yeah.
Yeah.
Very, yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, Radha just like did such a brilliant job of, I think, like interrogating and inviting us to challenge all of this.
Yeah, exactly. And the ending is not predictable, right?
No.
Because I think in 9 out of 10 movies that we've seen, like, kind of in the last 10 years, like it would be about her succeeding as a playwright and, you know, like her getting a standing ovation and then immediately getting offers to produce more plays and becoming a huge success. Like, that is a more predictable ending than what happened here.
I love this ending. And I love how it goes into color. Yeah. It had it had a nice sort of like, she was moving into the color part of her life. Mm-hmm. That's how I viewed it. I don't know.
Well, I felt shades of the Watermelon Woman when I was watching it a little bit.
Because the black and white, and then like moving in and out of color, and like
and like the characters kind of talking like random people on the street talking.
But the only other burst of color we had were that man's wrinkly testicles, which was
Oh my God. In my head, I heard Andrea Warner scream when that flashed across the TV. I heard you scream.
I mean, you know that I love a flash of wrinkly testicles. I was going to call them Rinkies. I don't know why. Have you seen a set of Rinkies today? No, I also just want to like, so her Radha's rhymes, like, especially when we get to the end and she is coming up with all the different acronyms for FYOV.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I thought every single one of those acronyms was incredible. Like that is a stunning final like scene. Like, I mean, it's not a final scene. It's like the, second to last scene or whatever, but like it's so good. And her outfit.
Yeah. And
my God.
And the hair wrap that was, yeah.
I need to look into if she's actually recorded these and put them out because I want to download and listen.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's incredible. It's like, and that's the thing. Like, there's so much exciting stuff about this movie. Like, we haven't even talked about like the teens. Okay.
Oh yeah.
How great are all of these different teens? Like the play that they write within their class is so awful, crushingly awful.
But it was interesting that she was at first like that, we can't do that, you can't do that. And then, nope, let's do that. Like that,
yeah.
The moments that she's starting to let go of all of these control issues and yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was really great. And you mentioned earlier, there is like just one thing that I do want to just like say that I wish I think we could have done without, and it's not Radha's doing, I believe, but she's the director, so she included it. But there's like just like this utterance of transphobia or transphobic language in the rap battle in the ring, and I like wish that they had just like skipped over. Like I wish that it hadn't been there because like I don't think it needs to be. But so I want to just like make space that doesn't belong there. But the rest of this movie is really wonderful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, agreed.
The reviews, like, can we just say like 98% on Rotten Tomatoes?
Yeah.
Is.
But that's what I mean. Like,
huge.
why is something like Emily in Paris constantly coming up on Netflix front page, like all the time for months and months and months, and like this is just buried, even though it won at Sundance and she got a director award. It's
let's be honest too. This is I agree that Emily in Paris got a lot of talk, but this must be the worst time ever. Like even just how heartbreaking it is releasing films right now. With all of the ones that are just falling by the wayside. I watched the Golden Globes and I was like, I'd never heard of 3/4 of these things they're talking about.
Well, the other thing is that the 40-year-old version is acquired by Netflix. I mean, okay, we obviously know that there's like systemic things like racism and like ageism and like sexism. Those are all factors. So let's just like acknowledge those and then look at what else there is as well in addition, because it's all layer cakes of inequity. But the 40-year-old version is acquired by Netflix. Emily in Paris, I believe, is a Netflix original.
Yeah.
Emily in Paris also nominated for like Golden Globe and stuff, and they've got like a bunch of. They've already signed on for number 2, so they have a real interest in sort of keeping people watching this, even if they're hate watching. They don't care that the people are hate watching this.
I couldn't even hate watch it. I mean, honest to God.
Yeah, I didn't bother with it at all. But like,
no.
But I know people who did both love watch it and hate watch it, and they were just like, And then when it got its nominations, and then you find out after that they flew every member of the Hollywood Foreign Press to Paris for Emily in Paris, which, I mean, how you're doing that in a pandemic, like let's look at that number. Yeah. Anyway, but like, I mean, there's just so many things that are sort of stacked in the favor of an Emily in Paris versus the 40-year-old version.
Yes.
Which are, I think, like, it's like crasser. Like this kind of commercialism is like crasser than theater, like, but they're still equally poisonous.
Yeah, it's just flabbergasting to me because I like nothing I watch indicates that I would like Emily in Paris. Yet it's always somewhere on my Netflix page. And everything I watch indicates that I would love something like,
And it hasn't come up in my likes for sure.
Yeah, it just is like, I don't understand that algorithm because like the computer is supposed to kick up stuff that like is a Venn diagram of what you'd like. And I just don't understand because like this is so successful and critically, applauded, like how it's gotten so buried in Netflix.
And it's great. So that bottom line too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I do think it comes down to all the typical forms of sort of racism, sexism, ageism that like sort of end up all these things that the movie talks about are all the reasons Netflix gives to bury it, and the algorithms are not like obviously like directing people towards it either, which is it's awful and super frustrating. And I like
it's just like it's so original.
It is, yeah.
It's just like people should be watching this because it's original work.
Yeah,
There's nothing like it.
And especially like Netflix paid the money for it.
Yeah.
You'd think that they like, I don't understand how their business models work though. So I have no idea, but like, I mean, is it just lip service on their part to sort of like be like enough, like that they are able to show that they support, emerging Black filmmakers and
but you have to promote it. Yeah.
But I mean, do they like
I doubt it.
I mean, I want them to, but like for whatever sort of like reasons they have for their various business decisions, like is this one of those situations where it crosses like the main ticks on their bucket and then they can just let it like live there forever, like and they don't have to do anything else with it? They expect that the audience is going to find it, or like I don't know. It's very frustrating.
Agreed.
Yeah. But this movie
we liked it.
This movie's amazing, and
I mean, thank goodness we found it.
Yeah. And it pops.
Yeah, no, it pops all over for sure.
Yeah, it's so great.
It's wonderful. And honestly, like, I mean,
and I want to buy Rada's mixtape. Seriously.
Me too. I hope it exists. I think that would be so great. I mean, I'd love to know what she's working on now, because particularly since that film took like 6 years to get done, I just looked at how old she is. She's 3 years older than me, so she's 45. And I would just, I really want to know everything she's working on right now. And like, I mean, honestly, I hope she's getting the opportunities. Like there does not need to be a second Emily in Paris, in my opinion. I would much rather see like 4 new films from Rada. I'm curious to see what happens for her next.
I am too.
Yeah, I'll watch whatever she makes next.
Anything. Bring it on. We'll do it all. Also, just
take
like
my
again,
money.
Yeah. I just, again, like just a little shout out to Rada and Archie's friendship, and like, and the ways in which they can they both challenge each other, and like what that friendship looks like and how it's built over the years and stuff like that. Like, I just thought it was great. I thought
it really, it was so interesting. Honest. Yeah.
Thumb up.
All the thumbs.
I think that's been trademarked by some other.
Do you think so?
Critics.
No.
No. That's right. We own Pop It. It pops.
It pops.
Yeah.
It pops.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's our version of thumbs up.
Yeah.
Or down. We also love to leave our episodes in something we recommend. Lisa, would you like to go first?
Sure. So, I didn't think this would happen to me. There seems to always be a medical drama or a legal drama or a police drama starting or you're like watching some award show and it's into its 90th season and you've never heard of it, but everyone's like, everyone's super excited that some guy's coming back to CSI or something, Special Victims Unit this week. He left
Special
for a while.
Victims Elliot Stabler is back on Law and Order SVU.
That's the one, yeah. So many people thrilled. I don't watch that, but I love the idea that there's just always one of these dramas percolating. So as we were discussing Netflix, they give you those big giant banners across the top. So I was having one of those quiet rainy days, and this banner came across this medical drama called New Amsterdam. Does anyone know it?
I have heard of it, yeah.
So started watching that. Some courageous doctor comes into this hospital in New York that has been falling apart, and he's going to take it over. And so we're just getting to know all the characters, or I am. It just started in 2018. And of course, we've already got a fascinating wrinkle where he is separated from his wife because he took this job and didn't tell her, and it's like full on. And she's about to have a baby, but she's had some sort of stress problem, and he has terminal cancer, but he can't tell her. So it's the medical drama soap opera that you've always wanted. I'm just like, by the end of the first episode, I was like, that is a lot. That is a lot to take in, but I'm ready for this. I haven't invested in a medical drama since Grey's Anatomy. I haven't.
Well, I'm glad for you that there's a new one. Do you still watch Grey's?
No, do you?
No, I haven't watched it since like season 5, maybe. I guess after Denny died, and then Denny had the.
What season are they on?
14
16.
or 15? 16. Okay, yeah, 16.
Yeah,
and I did watch it pretty. I think I went past. Oh, Denny. I think Denny was like season 2 or 3, wasn't he?
No, but the ghost sex was like season 4 or 5, and I quit after the ghost sex.
Yeah, I lasted till probably about season 8.
I've heard that it's excellent, actually, the last like 5 years.
Yeah, that's what I've heard too. I mean, I could go and get back if I wanted, or
no, you found something new.
I can find my way into New Amsterdam, and a whole set of new issues and ripped from the headlines medical dramas that you can't even imagine.
Can't even imagine.
So yeah, that's what I'm doing right now. I'm investing my time now at New Amsterdam.
Great. Fantastic. Thank you for that. AG, what about you?
Well, I decided to suggest something that is just fun and happy to watch this week. There's Nadiya Hussain has a new baking show out called Nadiya Bakes. And she is just so like happy and fun and positive, and watching her show is just a delight. And she just makes things that look delicious and seem possible to make. Like, I've never tried to make anything really, but like they don't seem overly like you have to be a French chef to be able to make something. But yeah, I just love it. Her show is just like bright and happy. And
that sounds
it's
nice.
It's just like a happy spot in the TV landscape.
Yeah, that's great. That's really great. God, I'm looking forward. There's 2 Nicole Byer shows that are coming that are like happy spots in the TV landscape that I'm really looking forward to. Another season of Nailed It, and then her revamped Wipeout with John Cena. And I knew that I know that Wipeout might not seem like high on my list of things that I have enjoyed.
Is that just people falling off in those?
They bounce off balls and then fall in the water, and they try and do obstacle
love
courses.
That show. Love that show.
Love.
But last time it was 2 guys and what's his name? What's her name?
This time it's Nicole Byer and John Cena as the hosts, and some person, some blonde woman is the person who like talks to the people on the course.
Yeah.
This is not what I'm recommending because I haven't seen them yet.
I can't wait for that. I love that.
Have you watched the trailer for the new Wipeout though?
No, I'm going to though. As soon as we're done here.
Great. I also recommend if you want is when Nicole was doing when Nicole was like announcing that she had like signed on to the new Wipeout. She made video in like her backyard with her best friend, the actress Sashir Zameda, and they have their podcast together as well, Best Friends podcast, which is great. They made a funny video in the backyard that like is basically Wipeout come to life, because she was trying to throw a red ball at Nicole and it like bounced back and hit Sashir.
Okay, I'll
oh my god,
yeah,
it's
I
on
love
Instagram.
John Cena too. I just do.
Yeah, I like John Cena too. It was. I mean, until I find out something terrible, he was pretty good in. Oh god, there's that movie where the daughters.
Oh yeah.
All decide they want to lose their virginity on prom night. It's actually quite fun. And he's one of the overprotective parents. Anyway, all this to say, you know what? I will stick with the trailer for Wipeout and the new trailer for Nailed It as my Nicole Byer fixes. Also, her podcast, Why Won't You Date Me, is now part of Conan O'Brien's podcast network. So, yeah, great stuff for Nicole. And I just love almost everything she does. So,
as a quick, just another addition, I did listen to, because I like that podcast, Smartless, and I don't know if this is in any. I think the most recent episode was with Awkwafina.
Oh, fun.
And it's really fun. Like, she's, a lot of things about her I didn't know. And everyone
I love her.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you listen to that episode?
No.
Oh.
I'm going to now, though.
Yeah. No, it was really sweet. And she seems to be having a good time. So their guest list is quite eclectic, but she's really good.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much, everyone, for listening. Thank you for hanging out with us on the various social medias. You can email us at popthiscollective@gmail.com. You can hang out with us on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram. And especially sometimes it's really fun to just, on Instagram, we sometimes take pictures of what we're going to be talking about in the future. And then it's just fun to see pictures of my television. Anyway, you can also rate and review us 5 stars on iTunes.
Yes, 5 stars always. Thank you to Andrea Gin, our producer and our co-host during the pandemic that our BC government now says the final miles in the marathon are always the hardest.
Yay, vaccines.
Yeah. So, yeah, see you on the other side of the vaccines, everyone. No, that might not be for a very long time.
Yeah, I was going to say.
No,
we'll see you next week.
Do not wait on that. We'll see you next week.
week.
Yes, we will. Bye.
Bye.